and welcome to a video by the Fountain Valley Chamber of Commerce. My name is Leo. This is Memory Bartlett, and she is the CEO of the Fountain Valley Chamber of Commerce. One of the questions that we have been hearing of is Governor Newsom's signed executive order removing a 30-day wait period for unemployment. What did you want to expand on that with your members and your guests?
I wanted to let everybody know that if you have recently been laid off, the governor took away the 30-day wait period that normally applies to unemployment insurance. So you now can get your check in as soon as 7 business days. So if you have recently been laid off, go to the EDD website and apply for that unemployment insurance today. It should come very quickly in the mail.
And children have also been asking, can you apply that to fortnight credits?
I wish, because it would certainly keep my son busy, but not as of
Sorry
today.
guys, I tried. Well, we have more?
Yeah, there's a lot more.
There's only one question on it.
A lot more information.
Okay. Families First Coronavirus Response Act, paid sick leave, paid family leave. Oh, tell us more about that.
So, not very long ago, the federal government signed the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. And what that did is a number of things, actually, but it provides paid sick leave to those who are experiencing symptoms, any symptoms. If you need to stay at home, your work is required now to give you 2 weeks, 10 working days of paid sick leave. And that is 100% reimbursable by the federal government. So your company is not out that money. The federal government is giving that to you. And if you have a family member who is either sick or who is a child that is home now due to school closures, you can actually get paid family leave, which is 2/3 your salary, for up to 6 weeks. So again, that's 100% reimbursable by the federal government to your company. The companies aren't out the money. The employees get the benefits, and it could work all the way around if you're still working.
So I think that's great. And once we get past believing that's real or not real, or are we going to act on it, this is information that I guess people are going to follow on. The next question people are going to ask is, how does my employer know that I'm sick? Because a lot of us will be turned back from hospitals or urgent care, or they'll give you the advice as, you have symptoms, stay home, self-quarantine. So are you there for the person reporting to your job as yourself and as well as your own doctor? I mean, how do we...
That's right. Employers during this time now cannot mandate that you have a doctor's note, because they want people with the slightest symptoms to stay home, and they realize they don't want to burden the medical system any further than it already is with valid COVID-19 positive patients. If you're sick, stay home.
So this is voluntary. You just call them and say, I'm having symptoms.
Correct.
It could be the cold, could be the flu, or it could be COVID-19. Why roll the dice? And they'll worry about, I guess, the validity on the numbers probably later. I mean, for now, everyone's got an open door, green light.
Pretty much. That's
how it's written as of now.
They want people with the slightest symptoms to stay home because the testing isn't readily available yet. If you have a fever, if you have a cough, if you have trouble breathing, you should not be going, especially into work, and therefore that there is this paid family leave. 10 days, 100% of your salary, and 100% reimbursable to your employer. So that's a great system. And I think it's especially important to note that the paid family leave, which is 2/3 your salary, can be up to 6 weeks. And that is available to any parent who has a child who is now home due to the school closures.
And you will be listing some of these websites.
Yes, in the description.
Yes.
And also it is currently available on our website.
Fantastic. By the way, this is an opportunity for anybody who wants to get involved with Memory. Simply contact her and her office. If you would like to have a sponsored mention here on some of the videos. For example, this is brought to you by freeballroomlessons.com. Memory loves to tango, cha-cha, and rumba. I like the salsa and swing. And our son, he's in the Fortnite moves, but he'll come around. So as soon as this virus is over with, we'll go back to touching and framing again, because freeballroomlessons.com wants you to get off the couch and back to socializing, which will be, I guess, in a while, which leads to our next question.
Yes.
Because you and I have had these debates here and there.
Yes.
Right? I heard from Governor Cuomo, not directly, but telepathically, on TV anyway. He was mentioning in the morning that he is using the National Guard to set up some temporary hospitals because they're expecting an overrun. As you know, President Trump is sending ships to the East Coast and the West Coast. These temporary hospitals are there. The National Guard is there. There's going to be a police presence and enforcement starting on Monday. Read some articles like San Jose PD as well as Orange County. They're saying come Monday or Tuesday we will start assigning fines, penalties. They did mention possible jail time, but I guess they have to in the articles. You and I have had this debate. What's going to happen next? Are we going to be under pseudo martial law? Is that going to be next? My friend Tim from Las Vegas, we have a bet. What do you want to tell us about that?
I can tell you that Tim from Vegas is wrong, and that's my biggest declaration.
And that was worth doing the video for you. I know. Keep going.
But tonight or this afternoon, in the president's address to the nation, they specifically said they wanted to squash any rumors of martial law coming into effect. That is not going to happen. I also want to clarify some things because, especially in California, there is, I think, many people who are confused. Are we in isolation? Are we in lockdown? Are we in shelter in place? Stay at home? What are the differences between these new terms that we have, and what do they mean for our daily life? Are they enforceable, and so on and so forth? So,
it seems like there's a barrage of them constantly coming our way, and it also seems like the media, so in such a hurry to keep us baited, right, keep us hooked, are always magnifying the horrible, but it seems like no one's taking the time to understand that some of this term isn't accurate.
Exactly, and I think for the most part, much of the media is confused as well. So, there are counties in Northern California, San Jose, Santa Clara. I know I'm missing a few. I'm not too familiar with that area, but there's, I think, 6 counties in Northern California that are under a very, very strict shelter-in-place order. Those can result in fines, I guess imprisonment, or both, and are being patrolled more heavily. It is an order, and those are actually issued by their respective counties. Orange County last week put out a health order asking everybody, if you do not have essential business, to stay home, work from home. Drive-thrus can be open, to-go orders can be placed at restaurants, obviously grocery stores, pharmacies, and all your needed service industries, so auto mechanics, plumbers, electricians, CPAs, lawyers.
So not nail salons.
That's unfortunately not necessary. Those are not deemed essential.
Right.
So, no, not those. But for the most part, Orange County had this order, and they actually, when that order was placed, so many people in Orange County thought it was a shelter in place that our Board of Supervisors had to, the very next day, clarify that we are not in a shelter in place order. A few days later, Governor Newsom came out with a statewide stay-at-home order. Now, that, in my opinion, is for many of the counties that don't currently have something in place. And I did find out through Congressman Harley Ruta's website that our local Board of Supervisors order supersedes Governor Gavin Newsom's orders.
You did mention this the other day, that's
yes.
right.
So
which I found a little confusing.
It is very confusing, and why you have to do your research.
Okay, well, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Because
exactly.
all this really is important when it comes to who are we going to go for leadership, right, in our local vicinity. So
right. Well, and I'm always more interested in going to your most immediate leadership, so your city, then your county, and then after that would be your statewide governor. But it really doesn't matter too much for us here in Orange County because the statewide stay-at-home order is almost identical to the health order that our Orange County Board of Supervisors gave us. So I know in his address this afternoon, Governor Gavin Newsom made a point of saying that all those that I previously mentioned are open, they're doing business, continue doing business.
So Orange County, for example, in its immediate importantly to us here, will start enforcing then the health directive, right? Not the state government directive.
Correct. And I'm not really too sure that there's going to be very much enforcement. Governor Gavin Newsom actually said he's counting on social
shaming.
That's pretty much what he said.
Or peer pressure.
Yes, very much what he said.
We miss the good old days when bullying actually helped sometimes.
Yes. So, but he is counting on the social aspect to kind of further that along. I know I have personally talked to some of our local police chiefs in and around Orange County, and they are not looking at enforcing the law in that way. I'm sure if they see big crowds of people, they will go and break it up. They would have to get involved. Yeah. But they are not going to be pulling people over just to see, where they're going or whatever. That is not on their agenda, nor is it a very good use of their time. They are more interested in the larger gatherings. And again, the governor actually praised California for how well we have done with our social distancing. So between his praise, the local support that we are getting, the news always focuses on, the millennials that are partying all day. But that's just a small segment. Really, I believe our state has done what we needed to do for the most part, and it is working. We all know the numbers are going to rise.
It almost sounds like you want to give a positive projection about this, but I know how you hate to commit to anything. So You're saying that there's a lot of good stuff as well as some of the bad stuff.
And and I think martial law and even like large-scale enforcement where, you see them out rounding people up, I think we are a long ways from that. I know that the cities that I live and work in have wonderful people, and I know that they are adhering to the directives that they're given, and I don't see, militia out in the street with guns and ready. I'm sure people are even more worried about that today after the president's address, because he talked about...
Well, it has been mentioned in the news verbatim a couple of times now. And, no one is, especially because we're so insulated from the real world regarding military applications, it's really strange for us to see a whole group of soldiers, especially in Orange County, setting up, even though it might be just an exercise for the National Guard.
And you'll probably see a lot more because they are deploying them to set up these remote emergency hospitals that will be needed to help the sick. So you will see more of them. And I'm sure that that's even going to further the rumor mill and social media to be, we're under attack, we're going to be forced into our houses with guns. And I personally believe that's a long way off from happening.
Okay, well, I definitely feel much better.
I did also want to say, though, in terms of those of you who may be worried about if you've recently lost your job, or how are you going to pay your rent? How are you going to feed your family? Those are real concerns. And I think those are the concerns we need to be focused on more than, are they going to send out the National Guard? We need to worry about having a roof over our head, food in our children's mouths, when, our economy right now is hit so hard. So I did want to let everybody know that there is a number of things out there. If you're not aware, federal and state taxes have been pushed back to July, so you don't need to worry about filing or paying those, which in some instances could help out a lot.
And don't they have moratoriums on rent and utilities?
Yes, some counties, not all, but some counties have issued moratoriums on rent.
What about Orange County?
I don't believe they have, officially done that. They have suggested it to landlords.
But you'll know more about that later. Is there a decision coming down soon?
Yes, I do believe with this recent emergency declaration that Newsom has just submitted to the president and the president has just signed, I believe that with that will come more of those types of things. I do know a number of people that I know in Fountain Valley who own property are not planning on evicting anybody. And I do know that the gas company will not shut off your gas for non-payment. The electric company will not shut off your electricity for non-payment. And cities have been urged to do the same with the water, and the cities that I know of are doing that. So,
and I also found out, this is super important, that you can still get the Cajun lamb chops at Silky Sullivan's.
You can.
you were talking about we need to support some of the people that really take care of us, and I love their lamb chops. And I think you learned this the hard way. They operate from when to when.
Yes, we did. We wanted to order some last night.
I love those lamb chops.
But they are offering to go takeout meals, and they have actually. I thought when I heard about it, it was going to be a limited menu, but it's pretty much their whole menu, including their daily specials. And they are open daily from 4:30 to 7:30. Call, make your order, stop by and pick it up. It is imperative in times like this that we support those local businesses and help them make it through this.
Here.
So, let me think. And there is another thing I learned from the congressman the other day in his town hall. So if you are a student and have student loans, if you are a small business owner and have maybe an SBA loan, contact your lender directly. Many of the banks have already said they will issue
like an extension?
a freeze kind of on your payments, a 3 month.
Until this is all over with.
Until this is all over with.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I don't believe that they're going to just blanketly do that, but you have been advised to contact your lender directly, tell them that you live in California, this is your experience, and they will basically freeze your payments for up to 3 months. So between that and the utility companies, I think everybody's kind of pulling together, and you need to make sure to take advantage of those. The Second Harvest Food Bank is doing ginormous food giveaways. They just did one last weekend at the Honda Center. I guess 22,000 people.
That's how many
showed up.
It was a social gathering of 22,000.
I know. It was, I guess everybody was in their cars because it was a drive-through thing.
Okay.
But they were actually shocked at how many people showed up, and they have taken that information and are going to have more food and a better system for next time. But there are those things in place. You can contact United Way if you need help with your rent or any medical things. So the help is out there. And if you need further direction on how to get that help, please feel free to contact us. You can find us on the web at fvchamber.com and contact us. And if we don't know the answer, we can find it for you, and we can definitely point you in the right direction.
And I believe that Rick, your assistant, was going to type out the entire dictation of the show for these descriptions, so you can have the links down below.
That's right.
To make sure that you can log on to anything mentioned, right?
Absolutely.
We got to keep that young man busy.
That's right. Everybody employed. So
what else do we need to cover on the agenda?
I believe that's it for now. I do have more information, although
and more
it's
episodes coming.
Totally different show. This was more focused for employees, the workers, the standard everyday Joe. I have another episode I'm planning that deals more with small business owners, what is available to them in the terms of very low interest rate loans, and grants and tax incentives. So
just trying to keep everybody afloat and just kind of have an easier time processing all this. All right. Well, this has been the YouTube channel for the Fountain Valley Chamber of Commerce. This is Memory Bartlett, your host. My name is Leo, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.